What is up, everyone? I am Chris Knight, and this is Chaos Central's The Rule of Three. You may be watching this on the Real Review 3000. You may be watching this over on Chaos Central. Actually, I can check and see. We got 2 over in Chaos Central. We got 7 over here right now. We got 10 now, so yeah, we'll get up there. What's going on, everybody and gentlemen? Danny, Nzo, how you guys doing?
Doing good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well, pretty well. Had a decent day today. I got some work done, got some stuff done.
Doing what?
Rearranging stuff. I'm switching over to OBS instead of Streamlabs. And LDG Pixels has helped me with that. So it's taken some time, but just trying to set up things a little at a time and get one thing going on that. And we'll see how it goes. But yeah, so guys, let's just do this the way we normally would. Danny, we'll start with you. Tell everybody about yourself, where you can be found, and all that good stuff. Go right ahead. Oh,
he's muted.
There you go.
I had to ask you a question anyways, Chris.
Yeah, what?
It's been on my mind yesterday when I said, if anybody tells me the name of the song, they get Phantom Zone. Did you Google that?
No.
You guessed it?
Yeah, but I'm trying to remember what Rockstar game it's on, though, because it is on a Rockstar game.
Oh, that's how you got it.
I listened to it, and I was like, I remember, I was like, wait a minute, there's one he did with Lenny Kravitz on one of those. And I'm trying to remember, though, what game it is now, because oh, shoot, now I can't remember it, but yeah, I don't know. Okay. I know, because I had a lot of old Rockstar games. I mean, it's not old, but you know, it's not like one of the newer ones.
Yeah.
But no, I did not Google it. I don't Google if I don't absolutely have to, and there's no reason. I mean, I'll get Phantom Zone again next week. It's not like it's going to change anything. It staved it off for a week.
Well, you said you don't Google, so that's why you don't. That's why you still believe in Gray Jedi. So we get it.
No, and ask LDG about this, because I thought I'd bring this up. Well, you know what? We'll talk about that some other time. We'll talk about that some other time. Danny, tell everybody about yourself, where you can be found, all of that great stuff.
I am Danny, aka Comet Chat. I'm on a lot of different shows. May have to take a break, step back from it, but if not, because of my professional career, you can catch me on Monday nights on the Chaos Conversation, Tuesday nights on the Chaos List, tonight Rule 3, tomorrow Equilibrium, Saturdays at Square One, OOC later on the night, Rob Storms from time to time, so I'm all over. But everyone that I stream with, I ask that you please subscribe, hit the subscribe button. It only takes 1 second. Please follow their content. They have a lot of good information, man. A lot of entertaining, a lot of stuff that make you chuckle, make you laugh, make you think. Hit the notification bell, because then you'll be notified on each and every one of our content that we upload. So please follow us, please support us. We appreciate it.
Indeed, for sure. That's what we need. Everybody needs it, guys. There's a lot of people we also stream with. And like you said, everybody we stream with, everybody. You can check out my weekly wrap-up. You don't even have to watch it. You can click on it, scroll down to the bottom of the description, and I put everybody I've streamed with that week. That's typically people that are on Danny's show on Monday, and that's Nzo's show. Those people, I try to put everybody we stream with on there, so you can check that out. Hey, Poe, how you doing? I see Poe, Shifty Gizm, Eli, B. I saw Austinator in there. Hey, guys, it's good to see you guys. Thank you for being here. Next up is Nzo. Nzo, go ahead and tell everybody about yourself.
What's up, guys? You guys know the channel, Biggaford Entertainment. Been streaming a lot of game streamings recently, since I got that nice Series X in my house right now.
Rub it in.
We were playing Tekken today. It was me, JJ, and Rob, so it was very good, man. I do appreciate you guys checking out the channel, but like I said, we do other shows, Rule of 3, Chaos Conversation, Chaos List, the OOC, we got Rob Storm, so you guys can check out all the shows, check out some of them, and give a thumbs up, sub to the channels, call your friends over, so we can all get to where we want to be. Appreciate it.
For sure. Yeah, guys, we do, like you said, we do a lot of different streams, a lot of different channels. We're all over the place. But guys, almost everybody keeps those streams up. You can watch them if you've got a day off. You can watch a whole ton of them because I know Danny and Nzo and myself, especially with these, we try to keep them around an hour and a half max. We really try to do that for you. That's because it's easy to watch those. So really easy to go back and see all that. So with that said, guys, we're going to share the wheel of topics. Make sure we bring up
Wheel of Death.
Wheel of Death sometimes, depending on what show you're on. This one, it's really easy because we know we don't force you to take the full 3 minutes. We like you to, but you don't have to. So let's see what that first topic is. Can you guys hear that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, cool. Just want to make sure.
Mm.
Ooh, this is going to be a good one right off in the bat. Should Star Wars focus on content separate from that of the content we have already seen already, or try to fix what they currently have before branching into uncharted territory?
That is a good question.
All right, we're going to remove that one. What was that?
I was trying to read it again to get it.
Well, it's going to be in the chat. I throw it in the chat now because I've been told that helps people know what we're talking about. So again, it is, should Star Wars focus on content separate from that of the content we have already seen already, or try to fix what they currently have before branching into uncharted territory? So who wants to take this on first?
I'll go.
Okay. 3 minutes is on the board, and your time starts now.
Very good question. Now, I don't think they really need to fix anything. Well, I mean, we know the sequel trilogies were bad and some of the stuff. I think they should move on, but still stay in the same universe, right? Jedi, Sith, and stuff like that. Just go 100 years into the future. Right? That way you can reference what has been in the past, but you don't have to follow anything that's been in the past. You go 100 years into the future and you can basically write your own story. You know what I mean? And then that way people won't be complaining about you messing with lore. I mean, as long as you don't mess with certain things, right? But to go back and try and fix it, I just think it's a lost cause because you can't please everybody. You know what I mean? So what's done is done. You take it a hit from it and you move on. You know, if you look at what George Lucas did when he did the prequels, you know, everybody hated Jar Jar. So in the second one, he basically put Jar Jar in a less role, but he didn't get rid of Jar Jar. Jar Jar was still in the second one. Jar Jar was still in the third one. Not much, but he was still around there, you know. So maybe you make a little adjustments, but to go back and try and fix everything, that's going to be really hard to do. I would love to see them just go 100 years into the future. That way you can have new content as well. Reference the old stuff and leave it the way it is. So you're not really have to go back and worry about, okay, nobody liked this. I mean, if you go 100 years into the future, you can forget about some of the things that they did that people had issues with, right? Get a little reference to Rey, get a reference to Luke or whatever. You know, you can rebuild the Jedi Order. You can rebuild the Sith, stuff like that. You could do so much things if you just take it 100 years into the future, maybe even longer if you have to. But that way you can basically erase what they did from the sequel trilogies from people's minds, but they'll still be in the universe. It'll still be there. You know what I mean? Because I wouldn't even know how to fix it, to be honest with you, anyways. And if you look at Disney's track record, they probably wouldn't know how to fix it either. So you just move on. Like, you know, you take your hits from that and you just go forward. That's it.
Okay. Well, you got some good points there. I don't disagree with any of it, actually. Okay. Danny, 3 minutes on the board. Time starts now.
I kind of sort of agree with what Nzo saying. Maybe I wouldn't go so much as 100 years, maybe more like 25, 30. That way Rey could still be alive and Ahsoka could still be alive. And then maybe those two get together and then they start rebuilding a new Jedi Order. And then, of course, there's going to be somebody, Darth, whoever, is going to come up. And then they can start it from that point on. Just kind of forget what we have already seen, but still have people that can be a a starting point of people that fans and new fans can build on to and be familiar with. They could see maybe an older version of Rey, maybe in her 40s and 50s, and she's trying to start the new Jedi Order. Then also Ahsoka could come, and maybe those two could start, and then the two females could be the Jedi Masters to start from there, and then they can have someone that they're training, and one could be good, and one could be kind of having dark side tendencies. That he could be the new Vader or Kylo, whoever you want to make him, Darth, whoever. I wouldn't mind seeing that. 100 years, seeing this totally new characters. I would watch it, of course, because I'm a Star Wars fan, but I would like to have some more familiarity. So if it could be Rey and Ahsoka, maybe Ahsoka can kind of be pulled back into the fold and then finally take her Jedi trials, whatever, and then she's a master and Rey's a master, and then they start rebuilding the Jedi Order. I could see that. Maybe we could also see Finn, because we thought Finn would kind of leaning towards having force power. So maybe she could teach Finn, and Finn would have force powers, and then maybe he'd turn bad. I mean, we don't know. But see those three. Let's have a better script. Be more conducive. Be more focused. Don't do all that crazy stuff. Just build a new canon, I guess. But make sure this time, if you're going to build a new canon, stick to it. Don't jump forward, backwards, sideways. Stick to the new canon you're going to put in place. I think George Lucas and Dave Filoni together could build a new canon with those three main key pieces, using Finn, Rey, and Ahsoka, and they could develop a new order of the Jedi. And of course, somebody in there is going to have to be a Sith, so you can throw that in and go from there. But I don't know if I go 100 years. I go maybe 25, 30, 40, where they're still not too old, but they still can see them do some badass stuff. Make sure they go throw in good lightsaber scenes and that kind of stuff. So I think it could be good. Like I said, I kind of sort of agreed on Zoe. I just wouldn't go 100 years. I would start off with the more familiar and then build off of that.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. Oops. I don't disagree with going forward. But my problem is right now, even if Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are in charge of this, how much are they in charge of? Until they absolutely get the reins, I'm not sure that's where they need to go. I actually think that somehow Disney might be able to handle Star Wars if it didn't involve what we already know, which is, the Skywalker saga and bits and pieces from that. Their biggest problem always is going to be that they're fighting against people who are canon this, canon that, canon. So anything you go backwards in is going to be canon that's covered. So that's going to be really difficult. Going forward, great, but then that does require them to come up with all of the pieces. Danny, your 40-ish year plan is not a bad one. But I still think that they kind of need to figure out, they got to find something that they can really sink their teeth in. And I think like Rogue One was a perfect example. We know about it, but we didn't know a ton about it. And if I remember right, there wasn't a ton written about it. So they kind of had their own thing, but it was within that Star Wars universe and within the Skywalker saga that it all kind of worked really well. Something like that again might be really good. And like I said, I constantly go back to, learn your characters. I mean, if you can do that Jedi Sith series, something like that, you're going to learn a lot more about those characters. Now, yes, you're opening yourself up to a lot more criticism if you don't really follow through with those characters. But I say stick with what you got and learn it, because expanding into something that you don't understand now isn't going to help you understand it by making your own story. I think that they would totally screw themselves out of out of some sort of connectivity. They literally wouldn't. I mean, they could make it and call it something other than Star Wars, and it would work. But if they put Star Wars on it, then they better know what they're doing, and they better have some play in that universe, which I'm not sure if it would. So that's kind of what I think right there. It's just I think that they got to stick with what they got. They need to find the right people within that group. Favreau, Filoni are two of the people I think that know enough and honor enough of old canon. Will bring in enough of new canon, keep everybody kind of happy, like what the Mandalorian's doing. That's the best thing they can do right now. But they got to keep kind of pushing that envelope. So, yeah. So I'm skeptical of their abilities to move forward too far. That's why I said, Danny, I kind of like your idea of 40 years. That makes sense. We still have some characters we know. Rey, I'm not sure how Rey and that would work because a lot of people don't like Rey. So, yeah, 3 minutes. Let's talk about this. Yeah, like I said, right there, 3 minutes. Rey right there is a big issue for a lot of Star Wars fans.
Well, right now we know there's 3 Jedi that are still living: Rey, Ahsoka, and Ezra. So maybe Ezra could come back from the far regions or whatever the regions they call it. He could come back. We don't know if he could be changed. I don't think he would be changed, but he could come back. The 3 of them could put their heads together and start trying to recruit and find and seek out new Force-sensitive children and start from there. And of course, we don't know what Thrawn's going to be, so Thrawn could. And we also know that the Emperor always had these contingency plans, so maybe he got another Snoke or somebody else or some shit or an Inquisitor or something that could be a symbol for the dark side. So I just think it would be. I think I would be more interested if I saw a trailer with people who I was familiar with. But oh man, I'm gonna see how they do that. What do they learn? What new stuff they learn versus something that I know nothing about and they still got the Star Wars label on it. I'm not saying either one's really bad. I'm just saying my preference would be to see a trailer with someone I'm familiar with and see how they progress in that 40-year time period versus somebody I've never seen before.
For me, it's like if you put Rey in it and you put people from that sequel trilogy, then you're already putting a bad taste in people's mouth. You know what I mean? If you're gonna build Star Wars back to what it is, you gotta completely come away from that. You gotta come away from that. The Skywalker saga, have maybe references to it, but you gotta come away from that stuff.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think that it's that interesting side of things with.
But how about if they make Rey? I mean, like really badass, like the way they should have made.
That was part of the issue. Some people thought she was just too badass. Too.
Somebody was saying Mary Sue, but to me, she wasn't really badass. Not in my opinion. Things came to her quicker, but she wasn't really badass. I want to see them fight like that same style and speed they did with the prequels, but do something that a master we've never seen before. One of those 3 of those do that, like Ahsoka. So. What the hell?
I have no clue what in the world that was. I had to look for that. It's in another one of my.
It sounds like Cuba Gooding Jr. saying, "Show me the money."
It is, but I don't know why it played it. It's in another.
Ghost in the machine. Ghost in the machine.
Yeah. Sure, I wouldn't doubt it. I'm quite okay with the Mandalorian and what they did there. It's a character based off of a group that he is his own person. We don't know about it, and they're building that up from something that there's no like. It's not Luke. It's not Obi-Wan. There's not a definite. I don't know. There's a lot of ways you can back out when people say, "Oh, but it doesn't fit this canon because of this or this or this." Well, we don't know enough about the character that we can absolutely say that it's flat out he is held by that Mandalorian, because like I said, we don't know yet if the Mandalorian is in a different faction that follows different rules or something like that. You know, I like the fact that there's some ambiguity to it, that, you know, there's enough there that you're not going to fully turn everybody away. There's always going to be the people that are like, oh, that's not what I want to watch, or they're horrible because they don't follow canon. There's always going to be those people. But there's less of those people because of this. $1.99 super chat from Poe. Thank you very much, Poe. The Last Jedi ending, Force-sensitive children. So you want them to follow the child that you saw in the Last Jedi? Poe?
They could do that.
Well, I mean, and that's kind of what everybody thought that they were going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I sent... I have to see what that is that he sent us. Oh, it's just 99 cents. Okay. 99 cents super chat. Thank you very much, Poe. I appreciate it.
Usually a sticker, but a lot of times we can't see it.
Yeah.
Well, I looked on YouTube just now, and it's not a sticker. It's just a super chat, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I mean, I would be fine with following the children, like force-sensitive children or something of that sort. I don't see an issue with that, but yeah. Let's see here. Let's go to... Let's find out what topic number 2 is going to be today. When it comes to a known franchise, would you prefer to see a familiar story or a totally new story that has never... That's basically what we just talked about.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
We can spin again.
Yeah, okay. I didn't realize that was on there. I was like, oh, okay. Shows you how much I paid attention. Par for the course. Which format is better for a franchise? Episodic or a more cohesive, fluid one? So, who would like to take this topic first?
I'll go.
Okay. 3 minutes is on the board, Danny. Time starts now.
It seems that, and listening to fans of people that are Star Wars fans, that they want to see the more cohesive story. They see a filler episode, they up in arms, getting kind of ticked off and pissed off. I personally don't care because I am both a Star Wars and Star Trek fan. Star Trek fans are more, I guess, accustomed to the episodic. And a lot of times the episodic it looks like it's all mixed up and crazy, but a lot of times it pulls the story together as it goes along. Now, I will admit that they only have 8 episodes, so sometimes full episodes can frustrate a viewer. But I think that they're going to connect this story and Mandalorian in these 8 episodes, because if you remember on the first episode, it ended with Mando on the speeder bike going back to his ship. The second episode, it picked up him still on the speeder bike heading towards the ship, and he ran into some trouble. I think this third episode, the second episode was the passenger, where he had to transport this frog-like lady to wherever to meet her husband, and the husband's supposed to have the information that Mando is looking from. So, to me, thinking logically and with common sense, it should start where the second episode stopped at. So, to me, that is connective tissue. It may not be what you want or what you describe as bringing the story along, but they are connecting it. I think that we're going to get the big payoff. Episode probably 6, 7, and 8, but we just got to be patient. It may not be what we want. We may not want to cook that particular dish the way we want to. You may want to add mushrooms and carrots, and Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau don't want to add mushrooms and carrots. So we got to sit down and see what they're doing. We're going to sit down and see, are they going to make this thing work at the end, which I do think they're going to do. I think it's kind of a hybrid episode. I think it's a little bit of filler and a little bit of episodic. So I don't know if that's going to really satisfy the fan that likes episodic or the fan that likes more cohesiveness, but that's what we got right now. I personally have enjoyed both shows. I've given both of them one B plus, I think one B, and one regular B and one a B minus, if I'm not mistaken. So to me, they're hitting on cylinders in that area. Could they be better? Most definitely, but we've seen worse. So I think that, to me, the episodic, long as the episode is good and it shows me something about the character or have me entertained, then I'm cool with the episodic. But at the same time, I do like to have some cohesiveness, which I think they're trying to do a little bit of both, a little bit of episodic, a little bit of cohesiveness. So we're just going to sit back and enjoy the next 6 episodes.
Yeah, that is correct. YouTube is messing up today.
Is it?
Yeah.
Check if you're watching this on the Real Review 3000. Check over at this. Copy and paste this into your address bar and see if it's playing over there. I apologize.
No, like nothing was playing on YouTube. When I went on it for a second, I have you now. I have you up on other thing, but when I first clicked on YouTube, like no video showed up. So whatever. I think they might be fixing it. Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. Huh. All right. 3 minutes on the board. Nzo, time starts now.
Yep. For me, I want cohesive. I want to get if it's an 8 episode season, I want them to all be one story, like a mini movie, right? And the problem with The Mandalorian is, you may start one episode and end the next episode, but the issue is it doesn't progress the whole major point of the story. You know what I mean? It feels like side quest after side quest after side quest. And for me, I'm thinking of shows like The Boys. You know, The Boys was just from start to finish, and it was like one big movie. Cobra Kai is like that too as well. I think we got spoiled because back in the day, episodes weren't like that. It was episodic. A lot of the shows that we used to watch were episodic, you know? Like Danny said, Star Trek, you know? But once they started doing the little mini movies, I was like, okay, I like it better like this. You know what I mean? I find you look forward to figure out what happens next. And, you know, I just prefer to have my episodes connect each episode until the end of the season, where you get that big finale, you know what I mean? And it just ties into everything that happened at the beginning of the season for me. Mandalorian is good. I'm not hating on it. The second episode, I liked it better than the first episode, but one of the issues that I do have again is that a lot of the episodes we've seen in season 1, you know what I mean? Just done differently. So it's like a rehashing of everything they did in season 1. You know, it's been 2 episodes. We don't know what's going on with Moff Gideon and nothing like that, because he was searching for Baby Yoda hard. And all of a sudden, you know, where is he? I know he's probably going to come in later on in the season, but if you end the season like they did, then you got to come back with season 2 with maybe something in the first 2 episodes on that to at least let people know what's going on. You know, you can still have, like, you could talk about the new empire or whatever and still carry on Mando's story. You know, you can do that, you know. So what they're doing, I don't know. I'm still going to watch it. I'm still going to be invested. But at the end of the day, like I said, I like my stories to have connections from one episode to the next episode. I think it keeps me personally a little bit more invested in that. So that's what I wish they would do. I don't think all series have to be like that, but I mean, for me, that's what I want. You know, Star Trek Discovery is more like a little Dora type of. They're doing the same thing, traveling from here and there, but each episode is still connected to the other one. You know, so that's what I like. That's what I want.
Okay. Well, first off, before I start, I would like to say that this is a really good comment there, Shifty. X-Files in retrospect would be really bad had it been all mythology driven, as it got needlessly complex and just started pulling things out of their rear end. The Monster of the Week episodes are where the show really shined. It gave you a break from the mythology. So I'm going to start and say this. Why can't we have both? X-Files is an excellent example of how you can have an underlying plot that everybody knows. Aliens, government conspiracy, blah, 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 blah. But every so often, we can jump off and we can go find the vampire, or we can go jump off and find the golem monster. We can do that. And I swear, I mean, the Mandalorian wants to do that. It wants to, but they're focused too much on that monster of the week. You have to find that really good combination. And I mean, last season, if you think back on it, they kind of had it. But in this case, you got to have like your first three have to be all driven towards our main plot, which I've said multiple times with the Mandalorian. They just haven't given us enough of that main plot. We're not even really sure what that main plot is. We think it's the child. We think it's all that. But we how do we know? We don't really know because they've never gotten anywhere with that yet. But you do 3 episodes, main plot, 1 episode filler, 2 episodes, main plot, 1 episode filler, 2 episodes, main plot. If you do something like that, I think that equals 8. I don't know. I didn't really add that up. Maybe it's 9. I don't know. But some sort of form there. You got to give us more plot, less filler, unless you go to 16. If you go to 16, cut it down to 45 minutes on every one of them and follow that hard formula. That's the problem. They're not following a hard formula yet. 1 minute, it's 34 minutes. The next week, it's 53 minutes. It's like, folks, if you've got to focus on consistency overall. Every episode is going to be 45 minutes. We're going to do 16 of them. You give us that, you can focus on the plot, and you can also go and jump off on these monster of the weeks, for lack of a better word. I think you can have both, but you have to stay very focused on consistency. Every episode's got to be the same length. You have to definitely point out exactly what your plot is. You cannot have this, we think the plot is this. You've got to tell us what the plot is. This guessing game with the Mandalorian is what drives me nuts the most with it. Because I don't know. I don't know if there's a point for every jump off. Yes, I guess right now he's trying to find more Mandalorian, or Mandalore people. But what's the point of that? He says they say to get the child back, but we haven't even gone very far. This guy's still going to Tatooine every 3 episodes. Like, he's not going anywhere. He's going in circles. It's like, we've got to move. Your plot has to move forward. 3 minutes on the board. You say cohesive. Danny, you think that it can work episodic?
I think it can be a hybrid, what I was saying.
Yeah,
I'm not disagreeing with what you just said just now, but one thing with Disney has upper hand is that they're the only one that can get this show and everybody's clamoring for. So they're going to do what they want with it. When you have a monopoly or you have the only ticket in town, so to speak, then you don't have to be consistent. What you said makes total sense. I agree with it 1,000%, but we're not going to get that. You're going to get whatever creative juices are flowing that particular week. Jon Favreau, because it seems the last 2 he's written both episodes. So I'm not sure what he's trying to do, but I will say this: I have faith in Jon Favreau because he took Iron Man, which was very obscure and not a household name, and made it a household name. So I think if we just stay the course, he's going to do the same thing with the Mandalorian and Mando. So I'm just going to sit back and wait till episode 8. Then I can make an intelligent discussion, argument about the whole season.
Yeah. I mean, the hybrid thing, I think, is the best, but Anzo's right. And what I meant by what I said is cohesive is necessary, because even once you get the cohesive plot details and you know the driving force of this show, and I'm not even going to mention Mandalorian, any show, SVU, NCIS, they've all learned this new thing where they have the serial killer that's tracking the team, or something like that. But that's not always there. It's not always forefront. This time we'll go and we'll investigate this murder that has nothing to do with this. We don't get the crazy letter in the mail. The guy doesn't call one of our team and say, I'm watching you. You know, you don't have to have that every time.
The problem with Mandalorian doing that is there's not enough episodes, like you said.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm from the old school, man. I liked like when you watch series like Lost and all those. They had 22 episodes in a season. I want that back. You know what I mean? I know why they don't do it, because you can get your whole story out there. Whatever, 22 episodes, you got fillers in there and stuff. But personally, I would love for them to do that again. Like, give me long seasons.
That you could do. Oh, go ahead, Danny. Go ahead.
This is a prime example of, and I'm going to use Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick at first came out and did something, and people didn't know what the hell he was doing. He told you what he was doing, and some people went along with it. Some people fought it. Mandalorian told you what he was looking for. I am looking for, you got to get that child back to his original birthplace. And the only way I can do that is I got to find other Mandalorians. He is trying to do that, but some fans aren't happy with the process of how he's getting there. But I think he's going to get there. But we know what the plot is. The plot is Mando got to get little baby Yoda back to wherever the hell he came from.
We're pretty sure that's the plot.
Right. And the problem is, it's like, yeah, okay. So he has to take Baby Yoda. Then he goes someplace, his ship gets blown up. Then he has to fix his ship. Then he has to go someplace else to do this. Then he has to go someplace else to do that. You know what I mean? It's like
why can't we take a giant step forward on that plot detail?
I just told you.
No, but no, wait, listen.
I'm listening.
Answer me this. Last season, we kind of figured that was the whole idea. So he rescued the child. He made sure the child was safe from harm. Well, the child's still not out of harm's way. We know somebody's after it. Have we gotten any farther than where we were last season?
I'm not saying we didn't get any further. I'm not saying I disagree with you. I'm just saying that in your argument, you said we don't know what the plot really is. He told us on the first episode what the plot is. Some people want to get from point A to point B 100 miles an hour, but Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni want to get to point A to B at 50 miles per hour. So you're either going to do one or two things. You're going to jump out the car and ain't going to see it at all. You're going to sit your ass down in the car and ride till you get there. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying I don't disagree with y'all. I'm just saying that's what the facts is as I see it. He's
but
not
what they're
getting
doing
from
is
point A to
ruining
point
it,
B as fast as you want to. You're not ruining it because right now all of us going to watch it.
Yeah, but half of us are iffy about it. Most people are not liking it. I know people that are checking out. I'm gonna check out if it continues to go the way it's gonna go, because it's like I'm tired of seeing the same thing that they did in season 1.
Well, I'm not going to check out, but here's the thing. Let me ask you this, Danny. And this has nothing to do with this question, but we'll do it anyways. Where do you want them to be at season 2? At the end of season 2?
I guess I want him to be at wherever he said he's trying to get to at the end of season 2. I guess he should be at Yoda's home world or Baby Yoda's home world. I don't know. I'm not saying that I disagree with you. I'm not saying that I disagree with you and what Nzo are saying. What I'm saying is what I'm seeing as the facts that they ain't gonna get there no faster than what they want to get there. Not as fast as we want to get there. That's one thing I'm really saying.
All right. So, last question. Here you go. This is different for us, but I like having these in here.
Way off.
Do you think we will get an NCAA championship, or do you think we will get NCAA championship games this year in football and basketball? Do you think we'll get NCAA championships in football and basketball? We'll get the timer up here. Who'd like to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Go
ahead, Danny.
Go.
Okay. I think football will be easier to do because there's less teams. Basketball, I don't know how they're going to get that in a bubble. That would be very, very hard. NBA was able to pull it off, but in the March Madness is how many teams in there? It's like 100-something teams, ain't it? And it whittles down.
March Madness 32 or 64.
65, something
64,
like that.
64.
Yeah, the play-in game last time that they did it.
I don't know how they can put 64 teams in a bubble. That would be a logistical nightmare. So I think we may see football more than we will see basketball. for the fact that they could pick a stadium or a couple stadiums that doesn't have a dome and play the football game and limit the number of people in there. I don't know how they're going to do that with, because it's just a crazy, insane amount of people for basketball. So, would I much rather see March Madness? Yes. I know the bookies are going to take a hit because March Madness is like one of the biggest betting.
Big hit last year by not having it.
So I'm not sure about the basketball. I'm more optimistic about the football than I am the basketball. I just think it's too many moving parts in basketball, and they're not going to be able to logistically pull it off safely. So my answer is yes to football, no to basketball.
Okay. All right. Get over here. We'll reset, and Nzo, go ahead.
Got his mic on. Got your mic on, Nzo. Your mic is muted.
Sorry about that.
All right. 3 minutes. Go.
I'd go off a little bit of what Danny said. I think it would be easier to do with football than it would be to do with basketball. But at the end of the day, man, I don't think we're going to get any of it, because one thing we have to remember is that these college kids don't get paid, right? So now if you go to...
Technically they can now.
They can?
Yeah, they actually passed it for the NCAA. The NCAA just buckled and said, well, it's up to individual schools now. But the thing is they're not going to get paid because they get a scholarship. That's your pay. I mean, nothing's changed.
Right. And even if they do get paid, like, what will they really get paid? You know what I mean? So if you're going to think about putting all these kids in a bubble, then you have to support them for however long the tournament goes on for. Man, I have a bad feeling that, and I don't know, are we getting any college football or anything? Any college football or college basketball this year?
But y'all said 64 teams. That's just the male. They're not counting the females.
That's true.
Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right.
I understand.
You're absolutely right. But are we getting any college football or basketball this year? Well, college football is going on.
Yeah, college football is going on now.
But college football is going on now. Okay. But college basketball, are we getting that? Have they?
I don't know.
Yes, they have. Well, at least I know the Big 12 conference is already gearing up for it, but it's already been. It's going to be tough no matter how you do it. And I'll go ahead. It's your turn, so go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying you're right. It is going to be tough how you do it. Maybe they can do somehow like they're doing with football, because they have these little bracelets that they carry, right? So it tells you who you've been in the vicinity of, like who you were close to. So if someone, like, let's say you're close to someone, they end up getting COVID, it's like, okay, he was next to this person and that person. So maybe they could do something like that. But man, like I said, I don't know. I it's a big money maker. And that's the reason why I do think that we will get it, because these colleges make crazy money off of those tournaments and off of their season. You know what I mean? Especially if they don't have to pay their players. 100% profit, basically, that they're getting outside of, you know what I mean, given what they have to pay. So for them, it's like, yeah, we got to get this thing going. So I think they're going to find whatever way they can to make it actually work, so that they can get a season going and have the tournament and everything. But then it's only going to be really TV money, because you can't have that many people in the crowd either, right? But the TV money is so much money that it's hard for me to say that, no, we won't have that. So
yeah, exactly. Listen, they figured it out for the NBA. They'll figure it out for NCAA. I think you're going to cut, if nothing else, you cut the teams down in half that go in the tournament. You just say to the teams, hey guys, listen, just the way it has to be this year. But I guarantee you, Orlando did the bubble for the NBA. They'll do it for NCAA. You're going to have one location. Everybody's going to go in there. They're going to run people in and out. You might have two. You may have one team in this bracket. Dude, they might get through a bracket in a day. Just say this bracket's going to go. We'll get it down to 4. teams. This bracket's going to go. We're going to get down to 4 teams. Boom, boom, boom. Really quick. Try to make it as quick as possible. And on top of that, with the ESPN, Disney, they own all that. Do it nearby there. Some sort of cooperation with the ABC and stuff. And then you go and you get TBS to have their normal TV stuff. With Nzo, the money involved in there, they don't want to miss out on it again. They will figure something out, be it, like I said, half the teams, be it they set 2 separate bubble locations, and then once they're done and they've shut it down to, half the teams, they'll run them to one spot. I'm surprised these teams have not been put in bubbles yet. Listen, we will have your professors, do a video workup for you guys, and you'll go into this separate room with the people who are in your class that you're in the bubble with, and you'll watch it through Zoom instead. You'll have, we'll give you this much time to be in front of the camera with your professor while you're in the bubble. And they have ways of doing this. I just don't think they're going to give up championship. And I think they'll do it for football too, because here's the thing. The Big 12, or not Big 12, but the Big 10 and the Pac-12 both, I think, started late. And then they saw everybody else was doing it and said, well, screw it. We got to get on board because there's money involved. Anytime there's money involved, they're going to do it. If they can get, I don't think we'll get as many bowl games this year. I think you'll get the Rose Bowl. I think you'll go back to what it used to be like 20 years ago when you had like 10 bowl games. I think they're going to cut it down to that. That gives you 20 teams. And that's more than enough because we know the rest of them aren't going to really
do anything anyways. Yeah.
Occasionally you got a Cinderella story. Sometimes you got the guy that goes up to the Final Four that started out at number 61. It happens, but it's not as much. And you know what? If you have to, you compensate these schools that normally would be in and say, guys, we're going to throw you 100,000 or whatever this year because it's easier for us just to pay out of pocket than to have you there and risk it. Because it's easier for us to condense this year, get it out there, get that product out there that everybody wants. And you said it, Nzo, TV money. People are at home right now. People are going to watch that. And actually, you should have more TV money this year than you normally would because nobody's going to be able to be at the games except for a select handful of parents, grandparents, and people like that. That's how the bubble works if they pass the rules or if they get through there. And they may not at all because the NBA didn't do it. 3 minutes for us all to talk about it. I don't disagree, Danny, that they may not have it. This is all predicated on one thing and one thing only. You're so many teams in the NCAA football men's division this year have come a fraction of a way from having to call it off because they've been down to the very last group, the last guys they had to play. That's where you're at here.
I just think that the football will be much easier because it's only male participants. For the basketball, they're going to have a bubble for the male and a bubble for the female. That's going to be twice the cost on some of these teams that got to stay in that bubble. I know the professionals are paid, so they got paid to stay in that bubble for 2 or 3 months, however long it took. And some of them were complaining. Some of them fucked up. So what do you think a student who doesn't have the discipline, who's not getting paid, are they going to have that same amount of dedication and stuff?
They're actually held a little more to a strict schedule when they're on the road and stuff. So I think it might be easier to do with maybe. I know what you're talking about. But here's the thing. They lost out last year on all of it. I mean, I remember it went from the championship, the conference championships were started for the Big 12. They started the first day of it, and then it went from, well, we're going to limit how many people are there to it's only going to be like 2 or 3 family members and the team people. And then it went to calling it off. And then the NCAA called it off. They've had a year. to plan the next tournament with the idea. If you're in if you're in it and you're in that planning committee, you've seen what's been going on this year. You know the spikes. You know that it's been getting worse now. You've been planning this out because that's your moneymaker. These teams depend on that.
I know they depend on it, but I think that they didn't, like you said, the spikes, because here in South Carolina, Clemson College is closing down. In this past championship caliber team. So I think if the cases start getting a certain number, where are you going to put how are you going to put a tag on that if a certain amount of these athletes start dying? That's the liability that the networks are looking at. If they're getting pressure, you go in there, let's say 30% of the kids get it, and 4 or 5 of them die. Who's going to take the blame for that? So unless they got something legally where they can do a waiver or something, I mean, I just don't know. I just don't know about that. Because the difference between the college and the NBA, these are adults, consenting adults who sign, I'm pretty sure, some kind of waiver. I don't know if these parents are going to have that same fortitude to sign their waiver for their child to go play in a potentially hazardous situation. So I don't know.
Nzo, what do you think?
To be honest with you, man, I don't know, man. I really don't know, man. They got to get this virus thing under control, and then we'll see what it takes, where it goes from there. But I have
go ahead.
I was just gonna say I have no clue.
Yeah, I just think that we're in such an unprecedented time right now, and I know, and I say this. I say this from the side of understanding business. There's a middle ground here. There's safety that has to be considered, and then you can't expect these people just to not do what they do. These colleges depend on this money.
But let me ask you this: let's just say let's say 4 of the prestigious colleges push this, and they got support from the TV channel, CBS, Fox, where we're going to be on. They're getting pressure. Okay, we got to do this because you're going to lose X amount of dollars. Let's say they go ahead and get that agenda push, but some kind of way, a certain percentage get the disease, and they are quarantined, and just one of them die. You don't think that parent is going to have that college or that TV station by the balls if they do that? Now it's one horse of a different color if it's an adult NBA, because they will say, well, these were adults. LeBron James did it, Chris Paul, blah, 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 whoever the big names, they all did it. They are adults, but these are children. And somebody's going to pull that these children weren't mature enough to make this kind of life-changing decision if something bad goes wrong in that bubble. That's what I think.
It'd be just what everything around here is with the high school teams. If you want to play, you got to sign this piece of paper that says we're not liable. And trust me, a lot of those kids, and you know this, Danny and Nzo. I mean, I'm not going to try to bring race into this. Let's be honest. A lot of these Black African American guys that are in the NCAA basketball, they're not there because, and I'm not saying they don't like the game. They're not there only because they like the game. They're there because sometimes that's their family's ticket out of bad situations, and we all know that.
Yeah, not only the black was the white was too. Larry Bird was dirt ass poor.
I understand that. I'm just saying a lot of these kids, that's their meal ticket, and you know what? That's these families think that too, and so they, it's a horrible situation because. I mean, I hear right now all these seniors who have graduated this year who are getting to finish up the football season. We've had several teams who are state championship worthy here in Missouri that had to pull out because they got 1 or 2 cases on their team, and the team said, "Well, we can't. We have to quarantine half the team now because we don't know who was actually exposed to it. So now we have to pull out of this game." These seniors are going like, "Well, what about recruiting and all this?" We have to figure this out now. It's the way it is right now. And the years 2020, 2021 and possibly 2022, these children and these college kids that come out of these seasons are going to be such a wild card as far as it is in the sports world, because they didn't have those same things that other teams had in the past. These the kids that get recruited into college are going to be, some of these colleges are going to be like, well, we have the tapes that we had, 2 years ago. We do have video of this year, but what did they send us? Did they send us only their best plays? Did they not show us that this quarterback, while he threw 20 touchdowns, he didn't show us the 10 interceptions he had? Were they good? Were they bad? Were they justifiable? Were they this? Were they that? There's a lot of X factors here right now that we don't know. And I mean, again, I think they'll figure it out. But you're absolutely right, Danny. It's such a horrible situation. And you don't want to say to some parent who signed a piece of paper, well, you signed a piece of paper, you knew the risks, and yes, we're sorry your son's dead, but
I really don't think that paper is going to be worth the ink is written on.
It won't be. I am still waiting for the one guy to say, listen, you didn't have a choice because your kid was looking to get recruited, and if he didn't play this year, so you were forced into a corner where they knew that you had to sign that paper. You didn't really have a choice. And I do think that we're going to see, I think that's the next wave after this is all the lawsuits that are going to come out of this. Everybody has to wait right now because no lawyer is going to take a case right now because they said, well, we don't know the impact yet because it's not over.
I agree.
It's going to be crazy. All right. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Danny makes good points too, and you guys make good points too. But I think these college kids are a little bit more disciplined than we give them credit for because they can't mess up their careers, man. You know what I mean? They're all going for something. So I just think that it can be done. Will it be done? I have no idea.
Absolutely. I think it depends on how good you are. If you're a game changer, then you're going to get more passes. If you're someone up to rise the bench, man, you're not going to get 3 strikes. You might only get 2.
Yeah.
Okay, Dan Lyon says, I think they should pay the college players completely unreasonable for them to risk their lives and their lives of their loved ones for someone else to make money. I don't disagree, but the way that this is going to work out always with pay is that they should get residuals from games. Like, I think they should start bringing back the NCAA football and basketball games and give the residuals to the players. If their names are on jerseys in the game, they get paid. If their jersey gets sold in the team store, get paid.
I think they should have it in a scale.
Well,
if you sit the bench, then you don't need to get as much as me if I'm bringing the people to the. So I think it should come with some base pay for the bench riders or whatever.
Your jersey, you get money out of it, and that percentage is set.
Well, I think you should get a set number of jerseys you set that you can sign and sell yourself, and then you keep that money.
Well, I don't disagree with either. I think you should take signed sponsorships. Anything out. The thing, I don't think the college is responsible because the college is already putting up, what is it these days, $30,000-$40,000 for an education, depending on where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the college's job to pay them. They're paying them by letting them come in and get classes for free that later on in life is going to help them. But if I sell a jersey as a college that has Dwight Howard on it, and I know we're going back a ways, but if it has Dwight Howard's name on it, Dwight Howard should get a percentage of that. The college get a percentage of it because my college name is right here. His name's right here. 50-50? No. NCAA needs cut. 33, 33, 33. Fine. Whatever that cut is, that needs to be done. That's okay because I think anything outside generated needs to be done. And I think if you are Kobe Bryant, and I think Kobe Bryant didn't go, did he? He was straight NBA, wasn't he?
He went straight high school.
If you're Kobe Bryant and you go to college, let's just say this, and Nike comes and says, we want you to wear our shoes. We're going to pay you $2 million a season to do it. Let them sign it. Let them do it because they're going to do it anyways after the fact. That shouldn't be stopped.
That's kind of like how what's the boy that the sneaker kind of exploded on him, Zion Williamson. Nike pretty much gave him. As soon as he graduated, they're like, "Okay, we sorry. Here's $1 gazillion. Wear our shoe." So I agree with you on that. I would give him like maybe 1,000 jerseys a season.
Yeah, that would work.
1,000 jerseys. Whatever you sell them for, you sell them for. You keep that.
Well, the people who print them, the college's names on it. There's cuts.
Yeah, but like, look at Marcus Lattimore was like the best running back for Gamecocks. Never made it to the NFL because his leg got broke. He couldn't play anymore. His jerseys are still selling. I've gone to the campus and still see Lattimore jerseys. He is just that well loved. I think his jerseys overshadow George Rogers, who was like the Heisman Trophy winner. So I think he should get money for that.
I don't disagree. I mean, there's got to be a way to figure it out. But
yep.
All right, guys, we're a little over the time I normally like to go, but I guess YouTube's being
1 minute over.
I got 3 minutes, but whatever. I don't know. But YouTube's being stupid. So, guys, please, if you were watching this and you had a bunch of problems with the video, please come back and check the replay. I'm sure it'll get up and be put up. But with that said, guys, go ahead really quick and go around. Danny, start.
I am Danny, a.k.a. Comment Chat. I share 3 shows with these other 2 individuals. Chaotic Conversation on Mondays, Chaos List on Mondays, both at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tonight is the Rule of 3, which we have 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also we're going to have later on, hopefully, Square One and Equilibrium. Later on tonight, I think around 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'll be on Nzo's show, OOC. So, and then Friday night, I think I'll be back on Rob Storm Live. So I'm all over the place. On Sundays at 7 p.m., me and Chris do a show called Planet Solo, where we critique famous guitar players and their solos. So there's a lot of content out there, a lot of different content out there, a lot of fun content out there. So we're going to ask you to please subscribe, please hit the notification bell, and please support us. We appreciate any and all support that you give us. Thanks.
All right. And Nzo, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Biggaford Entertainment. We do appreciate you guys watching all the shows. Like Danny said, we do the 3 shows together. Then we do Rob Storms. Then we have the OCC. We have Elite Equilibrium and Square One. So sports shows. So we try to get into different topics, so it's not always the same thing. We do appreciate everybody that has stepped out and watched our shows and enjoys the content that we try to put up. And Chris, thanks for having me on the show. Great show today, man.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys as always. We're going on a little under a year that we've been doing this. And Nzo, you've been here for a good 6 months, about something like that?
Actually, I just passed my 7 mark.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And so, I mean, I like this format. You guys are great. I really appreciate this. And I tell a lot of people this that I stream with. These shows that we do wouldn't be these shows without the people that I do them with, like this show or the Weekly Rumble, the Weekly Wrap Up, any of this stuff. And Danny, Nzo, I don't say it enough, but I really do appreciate it. You guys are doing a great job. I like your guys' content. Guys, if you are not subscribed to these people, go and subscribe today. Like Nzo said, lots of different content, not always the same thing. Jumping on and off of different topics. Danny might do DC this week. Nzo might do sports, and I might talk Star Wars, and maybe we all talk the same thing one week. It changes. It's always different. It's always evolving. We talk behind the scenes about what we might want to do. So, guys, help these guys out for sure. Because I mean, like for instance, Nzo, what's your sub count at right now?
Actually, 224. I went up like 8 subs in the last 2 days since I got to Series X.
Guys, let's get him up to 300. Danny, where are you at currently?
1270. I can't seem to get off that number.
Let's get some more over to Danny. Guys, and understand, even if you are subbed, tell other people. Tell other people. If you talk to some guy at the lunch table at work, or you're sitting down at lunch and you know this guy at work that likes the same stuff, and you guys talk about the same stuff. Say, hey man, I don't know if you know these guys, but here, hey, I'm gonna tell you the channel. Just write down the channel names, or tell them where you can find us. They can search us. They can get there. Tell people. Spread the word. With that said, guys, I am Chris Knight. This has been Danny Graham of Comic Chat and Nzo of Biggaford Entertainment. We thank you very, very much. And until next week, peace.
Peace.